want to know what the different types of Google ads are.
Yeah, so
And if one again is one more effective than is one more recommended than the other, or how do they go about Google, the different types of Google ads?
it, it's funny because as an advertiser, we have the opportunity for each of our clients to, as long as they're spending enough on their budget, with it generally if they're spending over 2 or 3 thousand a month on Google ads, you'll get a rotating dedicated Google rep that helps you optimize your ads and everything. But they also tend to push whatever their marketing flavor of the day is, and right now they're heavily pushing this ad format called Performance Max. And so in order to describe what Performance Max is, we have to talk a little bit about what all of the ad types are.
That
And
would be great because if you can go over a little bit, obviously we're not gonna dive into deep today, but if you can explain a little bit what each one is and how exactly it works.
yeah, if I can share my screen, I'll give
Sure.
you like a real bird's eye quick view of all of them.
That would actually be great.
Okay, so these are the different types of campaigns that you can run on Google Ads. And again, like if we're talking about course creators right now,
Yeah.
shopping ads probably aren't going to be, what they're after. This is more for e-commerce sites, but
So Google doesn't have anything yet for info products. So when we say shopping ads, we mean more e-commerce and not digital products, info products.
yeah, info products will use one of these other ad types that we'll get
Okay.
into. But shopping ads are specifically, they actually go into the Google shopping feed. So like if you're searching for, a necklace or a planner or something like that, right? You'll get your search results that are organic search results that are the majority of the page. You have some ads at the top or the bottom, but the ones with the products at the top that you can scroll, and sometimes they're along the side as well.
Yeah.
That's the Google shopping feed, and it's pulling products from Amazon, Shopify sites, maybe your website, but if you have an e-commerce site, but that's what that is. So the other types of ads, you have search, display, video, app, smart, and discovery. So let's take each of these. Search ads are the ones that you are more commonly going to see at the top and bottom of your search results pages when you search for anything on Google. They're the ones that say sponsored, and it's got the blue title text and then a short description underneath.
It's interesting that many people actually don't know the difference between a sponsored ad on Google and a regular listing. Have seen that before. So yeah, maybe we can give an example of what it looks like.
So I don't know, just throw out any sort of product or service you want to search about.
Let's see if there's anything on burnout. How do I avoid burnout? Let's see if there are any ads actually popping on Google. I'm talking prevention here, but still, I guess it's better to. Okay,
Yeah.
so here we go.
So you can see at the top, they're getting a little bit more obvious about calling out the fact that it's an ad,
Mm-hmm.
right? But here, this is a company called Lyra Health, and they have a manager's guide for helping their employees avoid burnout, right? And then this section here is actually organic. This is called the People Also Ask section.
Mm-hmm.
When you have kind of like frequently asked questions, this comes up on almost every Google search result up here and right here. Here you have your organic results, and then often there's one or more ads at the bottom of the page as well. Here's somebody with a masterclass on retaining your employees. So
A little bit unrelated, but
is it though? Because managers know that their employees are getting burned out.
oh, I see. Okay, I do see the relationship now.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's just to me, let's say I'm looking for answers to avoid burnout. If I'm seeing that ad, it's completely irrelevant for what I'm searching for.
yes, it's irrelevant for you. That's true. If I'm a manager searching for it, then it would
Yeah.
make sense. I find it interesting that there's only 2 ads on the page, because sometimes you can see up to 4 ads up here. So that tells me that there aren't a lot of people necessarily targeting that, what we call a long tail keyword. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 words, right? But sometimes that's more specific and is going to convert better, even if you get fewer clicks, right? So this here is a search ad, and the most frequently used search ad is called a responsive search ad, and all that means is you type in a bunch of different headings and descriptions, and Google creates different combinations of them, and then over time it uses the data to optimize which ones are getting the most clicks and conversions. Then you have, we're going to skip Performance Max for the moment. Display ads are they're banners that you're generally going to see on one of Google's network sites. So you're on any other website, and you'll see a banner come up for a product or service. And again, maybe you go to an article about how to avoid burnout. If that site happens to be in Google's network of sites, one of those advertisers could have a banner ad that's showing there about their course for dealing with burnout. And if you click that, it's actually part of your Google advertising experience.
Is one type of ad more expensive than the other?
So Google network ads, whether they are search or display ads, the cost per click tends to be lower than the search results page.
Okay.
Right. So this is a little more expensive. If I go to a site like 4 Steps to Beating Burnout here, and look, there's a good example right here. This could potentially be a Google AdSense or a display ad. So the click on the Google search results page is typically more expensive than the click on this.
Okay.
Okay. Video ads. So generally short format, anywhere between 15 seconds and 1 minute at the high end, ads that get plugged into YouTube videos. More often than not, you're going to see a 15-second
Is
ad.
that so? I guess because of our short attention span these days, that's why I'm assuming, like on Facebook as well, the shorter videos perform better, right?
They do, and I don't know if you've had this experience with Google Ads. Generally, they will insert 2 ads into a video if you don't have a premium account. Like the way to avoid the ads is to get a premium account, right? But if you don't have that, if you have the free account, they're going to show you that first full 15-second ad, and you don't have a choice. They're going to bring the second one in there and hope that you're interested in it. But you'll also notice that you have a little skip control that comes up right away. I use that a lot.
We all do, because again, it's disrupting our experience, kind of like with Facebook ads, right?
Yes. So the clicks on YouTube ads and search ads, the cost per click is pretty similar there. App ads are really specifically to sell apps in Google Play or the Apple App Store. Smart ads, this is if you are just opening a Google Ads account, they're going to start you with this when you first get in there. That's your first campaign, because basically they're going to ask you, what are you selling? Who is your audience? And they'll walk you through a pretty easy wizard, and
So
they'll
they are
just,
kind of guided ads, right? So for a newbie, then these are the sounds like these are the kind of ads you'd recommend, right? If someone decides to do it on their own and give it a try on their own.
I would start there, yeah, because Google will take your suggestions for keywords in an audience, and they will use their vast amount of data to put together the best campaign that they can automatically. And any campaign, and I think it's similar with Facebook ads too, it takes a little time to gather data and to actually start performing. Usually you don't expect a whole lot over the first couple of weeks while it's gathering data and reformatting your ads, right?
What's interesting, Facebook has just started to do something similar as well. I think it got rolled out about a couple of months ago. It's not present in all accounts yet. It actually guides you through the setup process, and it's using AI to make recommendations for your ads. I haven't really explored it yet, because usually whenever they test something at the beginning, it's in the testing phase, and what I've learned over the years is not to really rely on Facebook's guidance unless you really have no clue what you're doing. So I haven't played with it yet, but they're doing something very similar. So it's very interesting to see how it's going to pan out.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's kind of similar with Google. Like I had started to mention earlier, and we joke about this in the Google Ads community. Like, one of the best ways to tank your Google Ads campaigns is to use Google suggestions.
And that's exactly the same thing with Facebook. Like, for example, their A/B testing option. Most of us who have done ads do our own testing in our own way, because we find it as a waste of money.
Yeah.
And even their recommendations that they have throughout the platform.
Yeah. So, and I do want to clarify. I'm talking about the recommendations made by their ad professionals. I'm not talking about
I see.
the smart campaign. I mean, any ad format that you use is going to gather data, and the algorithm is pretty good about finding the best performing combination of headlines, descriptions, and/or imagery. All right. What I'm talking about is Google was on, everything should be performance max. Now they're talking about do more broad match campaigns. So that maybe that's something for a future chat we can have, is like the different types of keyword targeting that you can do. But the algorithm itself is pretty good at coming to the best performing stuff. All right, and then finally you have discovery ads, which this is actually more disruption based, because people who maybe searched something on google.com are going to various websites, and a lot of them are in the Google network, and sometimes they're even Google products, right? So you're in Google like Gmail or Google Docs or things like that, and you may see banner ads there that are running on a YouTube or Gmail or news And those are just called discovery ads, right? So they're going to be relevant to that audience, kind of like that would happen in Facebook, but it's more of a disruptive rather than intent based.
Okay.
And then finally, Performance Max takes all of this stuff and kind of puts it in one, right? So when you're running a Performance Max, it'll take anything that you have in these other campaigns, and you have your search ads, you have your display banners. If you have a video or more than one video, it'll incorporate those or segments of those. If you don't have those, it will take images that you have and create video ads out of them. So you don't have as much control over your keywords and your headlines and things like that, but it takes all of your different ad formats and rolls your campaign out to like everything Google has.
Oh, that's very interesting. Have you tested it out? Do you find it efficient, or it sounds like a very interesting concept. It sounds like they're looking at the data, right, versus you individually looking at the different campaigns, and they're deciding kind of what Facebook does. Because when you put ads on Facebook, like if you decide to keep all options, all network options and all display options, then Facebook will use data and AI and ultimately optimize whichever platform your ads convert on best. So I'm interested, is it a similar concept with Performance Max?
It is a similar concept. And what I've found with Performance Max is it may be sold as kind of your answer to everything. But if you're not optimizing your individual campaigns, Performance Max is kind of more like Performance Meh.
I really like that.
Yeah, so,
So you have to know what you're doing. Using Performance Max is not going to help you get more customers or sales if you don't know what you're doing with the other campaigns.
right. Or, for example, like the areas where Performance Max helps a lot is if you have really good branding and you have high quality images and videos, right? Because otherwise Google's just going to compile images off of your website or whatever it is that you have. It's okay, but that same client that I was talking about, the COVID testing center, they don't really have a lot of high quality graphic assets or videos, and they didn't necessarily have the desire or the budget to go out and create those things. So, we're limited to what we had. And so, I mean, the campaign performed okay, but it didn't do any better than search ads, which is where we really ended up.